Do you hear you? Whoa, hold on.
No, because I haven't said anything. I only heard you. So now I'm trying to wake up a little.
Hold on, that's weird.
Yeah.
I'm all slumped back.
Well, it's you're not used to singing things that are way too big for you.
I am not.
Little people are. So we're just like, oh, well, whatever. You're like, oh, I can't reach the floor.
It's like the chair from Ripley's Believe It or Not. You know, the giant chair.
It's like Alice in Wonderland or something.
Exactly.
Right?
It is. Did you push the thing? Ooh, can we move it a little bit closer?
Am I supposed to look over here and talk to you? Or do I look?
Oh, that's awkward, right? Ooh, how can we do this?
We should switch it.
We could switch it to where like they're pointing diagonal. Because, that's way more personable. And this is going to be all stupid, right? Don't. Wow, that's really bright. Hi.
So then what, are you going to put this on a split screen?
What happens is usually depending who's talking,
it's you just cut back and forth?
Basically like the news, except we're not lying.
Yeah, I haven't been invited to Joe Rogan's yet.
You've never,
No.
My neighbor's been on Joe Rogan Experience.
He's mentioned me, but
Has he?
he hasn't invited me yet.
Hasn't? Oh man.
I
Well,
haven't seen him for a while.
just
I saw him at UFC 199.
that's. Oh, did you?
I work as an inspector for the Athletic Commission.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Very cool. Did you?
It's a long and winding road. It will take hours, but we could talk about it.
I'd love to talk about being an inspector for the Athletic Commission.
Because you were talking about this being like more positive and life and.
But your story sounds fun, so we
Well,
can
but
talk.
it's totally up my alley, right? Like I totally talk about that. Although that is my seminar, so if I tell you all of it, then no one will come to my seminar. No.
Because clearly I have that many listeners that are, it's going to detract, or it could spawn new business for you they're just so interested in your work as in the athletic. I think it's actually a really good topic since, the Athletic Commission seems to be mentioned after every single UFC fight lately for one thing or another.
I can't speak for anything for the commission.
You can't, allegedly.
I can just.
How was your experience thus far?
It's been fun.
It's been fun?
It's been awesome.
Been awesome.
Are we on yet? No.
Are we? What's on?
Nothing's on.
Okay. So, let's jujitsu pillow it up. It's tremendous. Ready? All right. So, for the mics, just right into the tip, into the capsule.
Is it okay from the side, or do I have to be straight on? Is that okay?
Kind of, if it's like,
Do I have to like this?
that's better.
That's better, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to know about these things.
Well,
That was before the digital age. I'm that old.
The digital age.
Yeah, I remember tape.
Tape. There were tapes.
Videotape. Yeah.
There's sort of. They look like a little
Beta, 3/4 inch.
Betamax.
Yeah.
They stuck around way longer than people think they did.
Well, they were like Apple. Like they were much superior format.
It's true.
VHS got the market share. So all the professional news and all that stuff, that was all beta.
So when would you? I know at least in the mid 2000s that Sony Betamaxes still existed. You could still buy them. So they're still around.
Yeah.
I think.
But I think everything is pretty much digital now, though.
Everything ever is digital.
Now that memory is so cheap and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think we get 64 gig little cards, SD cards or micro SD cards. I think they're like $15 or $20, and then for the recorder it was like $10 because it only allows you to put 32 gigs. But
although, I mean, at that point, I feel sorry for whoever's editing because now you have way too much crap to go through, right? Like it doesn't force you to be selective or editorialize things and compose things. Now it's just like massive amounts of stuff that you have to sort through, which I don't envy, but it's not my work.
Oh no, it sucks. Yeah, I don't do that part anymore.
You have doers for you?
We're a whole team. There's like 7 of us. It's a whole thing. So we got the there's Asian cameraman number 1 and number 2. they choose to go by those names. I didn't do that.
And do you get them mixed up?
I
Like,
don't.
do you call number 1 number 2 and number 2 number 1? Because they all look alike.
That's racist.
No, I can say that. I'm Asian.
Oh,
Isn't that the rule? Like, you can say crap about whatever you are.
so Hanato Rasan, whatever. He christened me like half black. He said it was okay. So,
Yeah.
So,
So you can say my nigga. But that's kind of funny coming out of my
well,
mouth. Right?
you can't, right?
Yeah.
But like,
I was just saying it, as if. Like
okay, I'm hypothetically not that offended. It's okay. Allegedly.
But so someone actually gave you the blessing to.
Well, when I met Rasan, like I think 2 months ago over in Hollywood, and before we started recording, he asked, if I was mixed or, what my nationality was. I was a white guy. He's
Well, it's ethnicity.
That as well. I mean, also.
So what is your ethnic background?
A white.
Like you're a mutt?
Irish, German, English, that sort of thing.
Oh.
But my mom's side is like indeterminate in terms of
Indeterminate. Is that like one of the things on the checkbox?
on the
Like
census.
Caucasian, Black, African American. That's what it says. Like Pacific Islander, Asian,
And there's
indeterminate.
there's two new. There's a Venusian for if you're from Venus, or indeterminate. This is actually the two new ones. You haven't seen the new census yet.
That's
huh?
for ethnicity, and then gender. They probably have indeterminate as well now.
Oh, that's a non-gender specific. Well, San Francisco area has.
So you could be male, female, non-specific.
Ooh, yeah, but I think even asking's offensive now, apparently. Or if you choose not to gender identify, then how do you do the census then? Which box do you just put like an X, like you're there, you're
Like your existence, but you're not quantifying. Is it quantifying? Yeah, quantifying what?
you're not, is it quantifying or qualifying?
I don't know. I think it's quantify. Quantity, like it's a specific number or a specific something. Qualify is, I think, yes or no, maybe.
So they would choose just to go with yes or no as a living organism.
Yeah. Alive, yes. Breathing, yes.
What if you would
Human, yes.
Can you choose to not could you just not be alive? Could you just like not want to what would you say, like how would you say life identify?
Well, that would be like when you watch a clip from the news and when it was originally shot, it was live, but they still say live even though it's no longer live, or they say recorded live and you're like, well, they don't look dead.
Yeah, everything ever is recorded live because
Unless you're just recording dead people.
But who was unless
You could hit record and leave the room.
Ooh, but it would be if dead people recorded dead people, then that would be recorded not live. But who record? Ooh,
It's
the recording's still live though.
yeah, I was thinking that the recording's still live.
So if there's a recording, any recording,
It's live,
is
so it's
live.
sort of redundant that you put that on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we went down a weird rabbit hole about the dead recordings of live people that are otherwise not gender identified from Venus.
Oh, I'm glad that you summed it up because I like that. Like you can.
Quantify and qualify the dead from Venus and that are otherwise indeterminately identified. No, but my mom was she was adopted, so I don't know. So, Rasan decided that somewhere down the line that I had something else in me, like maybe the mailman was a brother.
Yeah, little alien.
From Venus, otherwise, or maybe Hackensack, Hoboken. You never know.
So then that gave you. That gives you a certain freedom.
Well, I was going to use 23andMe or Ancestry.com, but I feel like I'm already in.
Like you don't need to now.
It's
a wasted expense.
That's a hall pass. It's a 27-time world champion. Even though,
Can't argue with that.
No, who's better than that?
No one.
No, exactly. I'm in. So after that trip, well, during and after, if you look up hashtag Team Light Skin, it's pictures of me and Hanato Laranja and Kita Maguette from 10th Planet. She's like a pro wrestler and a jiu-jitsu girl. So yeah, we're all Team Light Skin. It's the thing. Just cause.
That's very.
But hey, it's opening doors, right? I might get a scholarship or something.
Well, it gives you freedom.
It does.
It's all about just having freedom.
I keep telling people. Recently, I was telling the story to a few people, and I'm like, well, I just never told you before. I just didn't want you to treat me differently. And they're like,
Because the language changes.
I don't know. I just didn't want them to treat me differently.
Yeah.
I want to be excluded from things, or
Based on your skin color.
Yeah, well, you never know. It's roots.
With the remake, I didn't see the remake. I saw the original when I was a kid. I'm old.
Is Will Smith's kid in the remake too? There's
don't
not a
watch-
remake. There's no remake.
No, did they do one just recently?
There's no remake. You can't remake Roots.
No, they did.
Well, they remake Ghostbusters.
IMDb that. Yeah.
The Jamie from the Joe Rogan Experience, the female version. It's So you haven't been on JRE. Have you been on any of these, like, because like the podcast thing's crazy now, right? You have
Yeah, everyone's got a podcast now.
You know Joey Diaz too.
I don't know him yet.
You haven't met him?
No.
He's really funny.
I heard.
He's on.
He's a comedian, so that's good.
That-
That's a good
yeah.
quality.
There's plenty that aren't. I promise.
Yes.
He came to our place in our gym in San Jose and met him there and went to a show, and I had a family reunion in Las Vegas, or where my mother lives outside of Vegas, and we a friend of mine was doing, I guess, some photography for Joey while he was doing a special for I guess iTunes, or it was his album CD, and she went to introduce me to Joey. He's like, I know this guy already. She's like, how do you? All right, of course you know him, but no, he's been like
He just got his blue belt.
after
Yeah.
from Alberto Crane
Yeah, yeah.
over at Legacy.
Yeah.
Yep. I always confused Legacy with Victory because I used to be way smarter, and I just don't.
Well, there's similar words of similar lengths
Yeah,
with ease on the end.
and they both mean like good things that there's positive connotation with both Legacy and Victory. Mind you, if we're being silly right now, no one's eaten anything except some vegan bars, and there was some training involved.
Well, I got a knee to my face, so I have a little excuse that I'm a little dingy, maybe. But I don't know. People might just say that's normal.
Hey, I go with, I used to be way smarter, and whatever you get now is just sort of.
Well, I think as you get older, like that memory has to dump, right?
It's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Just make room for the new memories.
Which is a good segue, like I've done like a lot of different things, like different periods, a lot of different chapters. So that are seemingly very different and unrelated, but in the end now, like I'm finding out they're kind of a little more connected than I thought, which I figured would somehow bring, everything would kind of make more sense, looking back. But it feels like if I had done one job for 25 years or 20 years, like it would be a little bit easier to keep track of things. Like if you had the same job and you had a family and, you're like you have kids, and then you have these timelines that are kind of linear, but my life is kind of non-linear. And so I use that as an excuse.
Yeah, I feel like when you have that sort of repetition of years and years just doing the same thing, I think it all kind of bleeds together.
Yeah.
And it's hard to really remember, was this something I did last Thursday or like last year on Thursday?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's the same thing every day. The office thing kills me. I can't do it. I can't do it.
How long have you done it? 15?
17.
17.
17 years, yeah. Yep, same job. Same thing. Same type of job. It's all like systems engineering, administration stuff. Not like programming, like development, but just kind of building the underlying like infrastructure and systems and sort of internet stuff, right?
And you're not loving that anymore.
I think it's not mine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's not really mine, and I've done the mini tech startup thing. I've started them with other people. I've done my own, and I like being outside. I like talking to people. I like being in the front of the house rather than the back of the house,
Yeah.
kind of.
So that hence we're here in the front of this house.
This house, yep.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. You got your whole studio over here. It's very conveniently located in in an undisclosed location somewhere.
This is the Bat Cave.
This is
Yeah.
we're beneath Wayne Manor. There's a pole. You pull back the head on the sculpture. You push the button. Red phone.
And then you drop in and you're in a gi.
Exactly. That would. I feel like the intro to your content should just have that, where you just like pop up right there and you're in the gi, like some bat Felicia
With
sort
my
of.
fanny pack.
See, you're on Team Fanny Pack. I'm all about that. We called it a Merce earlier, which I'm not sure I liked. I wasn't very comfortable with that.
That made you like a little. How about did European carry-all sit well with you?
Oh, satchel or
You can say satchel.
Or well, that was a Seinfeld. It's European.
I didn't watch TV.
You didn't watch any?
I didn't watch. I watched. I watched the episode about the muffin tops, and muffin stumps.
Oh, okay, I know that one.
I watched one episode of Seinfeld, one whole episode, and then like Friends, I watched one whole episode, which was the UFC fighter one, of course.
Oh, okay.
Is that the one he wanted to be a ultimate fighter?
Okay.
I think that was Friends.
See, I didn't get
it. Was like Courtney Cox's boyfriend or something.
Okay.
Who was like Vince Vaughn or one of those guys from that whole
time
period. And he kept wanting to be a fighter and he got all jacked up and he's in the hospital and she's like, I can't date you. But now if his name was Conor McGregor, I think she would. No.
Maybe. Nobody talks like he talks. Nobody thinks like he thinks. I like his whole spiel. It's funny.
Well, I think he and Nate, make great foils for each other.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're very entertaining back and forth thing,
and I think their styles are so different that it brings a lot of people into it.
So when's the 8th fight going to take place? Like, are they just going to keep going back and forth, just playing, sort of volleying for serve wins back and forth, or I think they're going to do it again. Clearly,
oh, absolutely.
I think they're gonna space it out because usually what happens was Dana will say no, absolutely not, to where it creates the demand and the buzz, and then after he goes through another couple 145 or 155 pound guys, So I think his next one's supposed to be Eddie Alvarez, is what people are talking about. It's
interesting because I think with anything there are certain storylines, but it's also reality too, right? So I think that reality element tends to be things like injuries.
Yep.
So that dose, like as much as you want to steer and direct things a little bit or encourage things to go certain ways, there's those realities, like, and then it's like, I mean, that's how Nate got in there in the first place, right? Like
he stepped in 14 days or 10 days notice against he's on a boat or something.
Yeah, he was like
in Mexico,
an island or something.
Yeah. It's really funny. I ran into Gilbert Melendez's cousin. He was like the GM of some club in like Santa Ana, and he was like, "Yeah, we were on the boat, and he got the call." And it's like, "Oh, that's insane." But yeah, with 10 days notice, he steps in, and then they're drinking margaritas or whatever they were doing. Of course, they were drinking margaritas because that makes the story better. Yeah. Probably some chips and salsa in there, maybe a quesadilla.
Probably a lot of
everything.
Yeah.
But he passed his test. He made it. Yeah. He was good to go, which is great. I feel I wish it kind of didn't go the way it did with UFC 200. I really thought that show would have been better with that as the main event, because 202 was okay, but I really would have rather have had that as the main event. I don't know. I didn't go. Oh no, no. If I don't have a comp or something, I'm like, that's a lot of money I'm not gonna know. I'm not doing that. It's cool when it comes to the Bay Area, when it's San Jose. It's it's cheap. We know everybody, so we usually host the after parties from AKA. So that's cool. Yeah, that's fun, and it doesn't cost however high roller prices, because most of those tickets are just anyway gifts. So yeah. But who's coming up next? Isn't it Alistair Overeem against
Well, Josh Barnett and Arlovsky are next in Germany.
Yeah, they're in Germany. I think both are on the same card, isn't it? So it's Overeem and
they're the co-main or something.
Yeah, so Overeem and Stipe.
Oh, okay.
So that's sort of the knockout fight for the, or whatever you want to call it, for the heavyweight title, contender.
Yeah,
that's the number one contender sort of tilt match or whatever. But I was looking at actually a little betting sheet yesterday for like both of those fights, just to sort of see what the odds were, and those are both sucker bets. I wouldn't put money on either of those fights. Like, just sort of. That's
MMA, right? Like, there's, like people always go, "Oh, who do you want to win, or who are you going for?" That's such a funny term. Who are you going for? And it's like, well, if I really knew, like, maybe I think this guy might win, but that's why you have the fights, and that's the exciting part, right? Especially in MMA, because anything can happen, and we've seen anything. You think like this is a shoe-in fight. It's like, oh shit,
there aren't any. There's none.
So that's the exciting part. That's the real part, right?
Absolutely. It's 250 plus pound guys that are all strikers and all have huge knockout potential. They all have huge knockout wins in their career. And then even with Josh Barnett, he's so durable.
Yeah.
And if he gets you on the ground, he's, strangling you. He can take a punch like, nobody's business. So,
and he's got a lot of, there's a lot of experience in there for all of them.
And all of them except Stipe.
Yeah, he's the new kid, right?
And he was just the champion like 5 minutes ago. And so he's probably pretty pissed off about the quick turnover. So, I mean, it's different now. Everybody's clean and everybody's wearing 4-ounce gloves and anything can happen. So you're going to be playing, hot potato with titles for a while.
Yeah.
And that's just sort of the nature of it for now moving forward.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think, the thought is that they're going to probably add some more weight classes because they're, doing the weight, the IV and ban and all that kind of stuff and trying to, the whole weight cutting thing. It's nice that a lot of the athletes are saying like, it's way better that we don't, we have extended times and stuff. But if they put more weight classes in, which I think is the way it sounds like it's going, I think that'll be better because, you just see guys that are, it's not about weight cutting. No. It's about how good they are as a fighter.
It is. It really is. And getting rid of that, and, the IV ban, I get it. I understand why. I understand sort of like the theme or what they're trying to accomplish by it. But I feel like by broadening the weight classes as well, like having a super heavyweight division, because 206 through 265 is sort of silly.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
And, even just right below that, the 155 to 170, 170 to 185, like these are not the same size people if you're talking about, at their natural weights even, because if you can do different things as well, and not even really talk about water weight, and just do one of those like submersion tanks where you measure body fat and like BMI and everything, and like you could just determine like what is the safe or correct weight sort of a threshold for a given athlete. Like you should fight here, from here to here, this is acceptable for your body because of this scientific whatever.
But I think that's why I like that the athletes themselves are saying, when I would cut weight, I'd get touched and it would rattle me, where I could take those shots during practice, and they realize it's because of the dehydration, right? So for them, I think it has to come from the athletes to go, I want to perform better instead of I want to get an advantage by cutting weight, and being the bigger guy. But if that guy touches me, I'm not going to be able to handle it like I know I could if I was hydrated. So I think that makes it a safer sport, and it makes it a more honest sport, to who's got the better skills on that night, as opposed to who's cut weight or not cut weight properly.
Oh, absolutely. And with the improper cutting of weight. So if you're already, a lot of these guys, they just go with these bodybuilder diets, which are super low fat. If we decided already that the brain's like 60, 70% fat, and then you're taking out the excess water as well, you have nothing to protect your brain in case of any like actual impact. So traumatic brain injury, you're definitely going to incur some level of it being hit in the face with a 4-ounce glove by a professional fighter. And the knockouts, I mean, it's going to be worse. Whatever you would have had just with a healthy diet with water in your body, where you'll actually have a membrane protecting your brain. So just about anything's going to rattle you. You get touched on the chin the wrong way and you're going to bed, when otherwise in sparring you've been just fine. So no, I totally agree. I feel like the IV thing is good because it's you're not flushing the system, so you're not able to hide stuff as easily. Like, so I'm sure even with the out of competition testing, like the fighters with the best resources are going to have the best chemists, and there's stuff that we don't even know exists. I'm sure
constantly
there has to be, otherwise like you wouldn't still have people failing, even though if not failing for the substance, but failing for these sort of, the ancillaries or whatever, the recovery type of medicines that they're failing for, and they're not failing for the actual the performance enhancers themselves. It makes you wonder. It's like, well, how the hell did that happen, and how is it still beneficial to train that way, but then to fight without it and not get caught afterwards? Like, what was even the point? Because if you're gonna take your body at this sort of to this peak during training or wherever, and then when you actually step into the octagon, you're off of it, and you're basically at a fraction of where you were during training. Like, how can that be good for you emotionally or mentally or physically? Like, how is that an edge?
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm thinking, okay, there must be some crazy fast acting thing that they're able to flush even without IVs, because otherwise there'd be no reason to even do it beforehand. Like, I don't see how there's a benefit.
Yeah.
That, so that's where my mind kind of wanders. Like, how do they pop for that but not for the other stuff? So, and I know the tests are not, they're all encompassing.
Well, there's interesting results now, like that Chinese guy, it's like the clenbuterol or whatever was in the meat that he was eating or something.
In the meat
in China, and they tested the meat in China or something like that. I think it was just recent, so they're not penalizing him.
So is there any reason does that help is this like where they're like injecting the beef or whatever to make the cows bigger or something?
Probably, yeah. And then he ate the meat, and then he got popped because he tested positive for it. And he's like, well, and then the other, Anderson Silva and and John Jones now it's all this whole.
Well, Silva's was one of the greatest. I heard the call. And that was.
But I think that's John Jones's. Why he has the why he tested pop too.
Was his the
special tie?
Oh.
If you have any of these problems, you should see your doctor first.
so the little blue pills from Thailand.
Yeah.
Jones too.
I think.
Why, John?
So.
Why?
Like, no one listening to this podcast take this for news, but I think that's what I read.
That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like, what I saw was the social media post from John saying he's going to be back soon and all this stuff, which is cool. I feel like the light heavyweight division is, if that's the best guy, he should be there. And it's a shame that he's kind of stumbling, whether it's
self-inflicted or not.
Whether it's self-inflicted or not, or whether it's just really bad luck, or he's not being very careful. Whatever it is, it's really unfortunate, and you hate to see it because he's a young guy, and it's like it seems like he's figured out the PR side of it a little bit. Like he's like, I fucked up, When at first it was, deny, and the whole thing. But it seems like he's figured out a better way to handle it. But I don't know.
Like, he's phenomenal.
Yeah. You kind of.
There's the rules of the game, right?
Come on, it was. You didn't.
And it sucks because the rules do change, and they have changed. Yeah, people have, taken penalties for certain things that were penalizable in the past that are now not penalizable. Like, Nick Diaz still owes $750,000 or $75,000 to the Nevada Athletic Commission for his positive test. That's why he couldn't corner Nate.
Oh, he wasn't allowed in the building, right?
Yeah, because he didn't pay the rest of his fine.
75. Oh, it was a lot too. This was was this the cannabis one?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. That's not a very popular one, and is the rule still similar to when he was
I don't know.
Okay.
That's Nevada. But I think they said he owed $100,000 and he paid $25,000 and he still owed $75,000, and that's why they wouldn't let him in.
That was a hefty one. Wow.
Well, plus he had 5 years, but then they dropped that, right?
They did drop the 5 years.
But then you have like the Olympics, and USADA saying that pot's okay now, and they're not going to penalize them, which, either way, it's just that inconsistency. And you have guys, like Bisping talks about that. Like, every guy I've lost to's been popped. Like, that's got to suck.
Saying, well, Mark Hunt's kind of been outspoken about similar thing. Yeah. And that's an unfortunate sort of situation as well.
Well, and especially when it's not just, they can really get hurt, like they say, oh, like that's license, like a license to kill someone, like you have someone that much stronger in there.
Yeah.
That Brock can be really freaking dangerous, right?
Yeah. It's unfortunate. That he kind of shouldn't have said this. I know he's just promoting the fight. I get it, saying that I know he's on whatever before the fight, but I know he's on it. I'm gonna kick his ass anyway, that sort of thing, and it doesn't really help the case out in the law. When he is allegedly on whatever he was allegedly on, and I don't know. Sure, he's huge, but he's always been huge.
Yeah.
So go figure. I don't know.
It's a complex situation.
I'm pretty sure that most professional athletes are on something, and it's cat and mouse with the athletic commission. It's always going to be until either the rules change drastically or, the testing just gets really, really good.
Well, and as an athlete, like an ice cream.
Ooh, ice cream sounds good. that was like a really loud ice cream truck too.
Oh yeah.
You guys they know to come back through here.
Apparently.
This undisclosed location. The Bat Cave has ice cream.
Well, there's ice cream and there's like the little roach coach that comes by too. So you can get your meals here.
Oh, cool.
I've never actually had them, but I listen to Chael Sonnen's podcast, and he's like trying to get an advantage. Of course, like if you're not trying, like you clean up your diet, that's trying to get an advantage. Like everything, and obviously there's lines at different places that you would cross and not cross, but every little bit, whether you do an ice bath or different things, those are all things that help you recover. And then it just depends what's legal and what's not.
And that is like this, it's like you're trying to like run for this finish line, but it's constantly sort of
changes,
moving.
right?
Yeah, it changes constantly, because as soon as they realize something works, they're like, wait a minute, how well does it work? And so creatine still, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. There's some performance advantage there. And then being born with really good genes is also a performance enhancement, right?
Right.
So
when are people going to start having operations to like web their hands and stuff so they can swim faster? And then is that legal?
I'm sure there's one guy. I'm sure there's one guy that just does it, and it's probably not even competitive swimmer. It's just somebody that does stuff.
I'm getting warm.
Yeah, we're under.
That might be me. That might be me.
So, the last time, have you competed this year yet?
No, I think I'm retired again.
Oh, back
to that old thing.
Back to that again. So, you came back after like just a minute or two off. And, just a few seconds, and then immediately won Masters Worlds, which is like no small feat, and just very cool. I feel like a lot of people, get discouraged, after injuries and stuff, and they don't come back, or they get scared off, jiu-jitsu.
Well, I almost quit.
Okay.
So I started when I was 33.
Okay.
I started late. And then in 2007, that was the year I did Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
So I was 39 at that time. And it was a pretty busy year for me. And I ended up getting Epstein-Barr virus, which is the main symptom is mono. And what happened is it never fully went away.
So this is like just laid out chronic fatigue style, right?
Yeah, I changed my diet at the time. I hadn't, it's interesting, I didn't eat meat since I was 13, so for like 27 years or something, I didn't eat meat.
Okay.
And then I started eating meat. It was a heavy competition year. I got separated from my husband 3 days after Abu Dhabi. So a lot happened. I went to Turkey and competed over there with the USA grappling group, which at that time I thought that might have been a way that jiu-jitsu could go to the Olympics.
Okay.
And it was a funded trip, which was pretty cool. So
nice.
I got to go to a couple of cool places through them. But it was kind of a stressful year, and I started eating meat, and kind of had a lot of different stuff going on that year. And then right before Thanksgiving, I kept feeling like I had a cold that didn't go away, and my throat was really raspy. And then we did this CrossFit certification, and like with CrossFit, when you do that, your throat's burning anyway. So on top of that, it was like all this stuff, and my throat was just wrecked. My lip was peeling all the time, and I went to the doctor, and I was like, I have these symptoms that don't seem to go away. And she tested me, and she said, you have Epstein-Barr virus, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Have a great life. And
great prognosis.
So then, I went from pretty much training 3 times a day to not much. My lips would turn blue when I was and at the time I was doing MMA too. I was training for MMA, and so doing stand up and even exerting myself, like my lips would turn blue, and then I would feel it after, and I'd be like, it would catch up to me, and so I just got really discouraged. So around 2000, maybe around 9-10, I just pretty much stopped training, and I was teaching a lot, but I didn't really roll much. And then every once in a while I'd roll, and I'd be like, wow, that was awesome. I need to really get back, and the next morning I'd wake up and my back would be thrown out, or wow. 6 months later I'd roll and my knee would pop or something. And every time I was like, wow, I love rolling, but it just wasn't happening. And like I lost flexibility, like it was just like my body was just kind of broken. And so in 2014, in October, I ended up going to Hawaii with my student to compete over there, and a friend of mine was over there and told me, oh, you should try some red marine algae that, supposed to help suppress that virus. And I started it the next day, and then started feeling pretty good after a couple of days on that. Started running around, because I would run sometimes, but then my feet would hurt or something would hurt. There was always this aches and pains. It was like, there was always something, and it was really frustrating. And I was just like, okay, like maybe I'm done. Maybe I'm not doing this anymore. Like I was seriously like, I think I'm going to be done with jiu-jitsu. I should just quit teaching, and I think that's it. And after a couple of days, I was like running around the island or the little area. We were at Turtle Bay, so I was running around there, and everything was feeling pretty good. And then I came back, and the next day I went back to Jean Jacques, which I hadn't trained there for a while. And I signed up for the tournament, and then I went back. So I trained like 4 times. And then went and competed. And that was pretty cool. And then I've been training since, except when I've had some injuries. But, everything came back. Like, I felt old and broken. And I think I needed that time off. And, I realized some things, I was always pretty competitive. And my time in jiu-jitsu, I was always competing at tournaments. And even in rolling, I was always very attack based, right? Because my teachers Jean Jacques and Eddie and those guys, and it was a very offensive kind of game. And then I realized, like, in that time where I was just teaching, it's like I had to come back to jiu-jitsu in a different way, and it can't be about the competition because I'm older. I'm not as strong. All these things are a little bit different. So if I keep attacking and insisting on things that I can't support, like I'm going to get hurt, like something's going to give and it's going to be me, right? So even though I don't have osteoporosis yet, but it's like the bigger, stronger guy's going to win, and I can't keep forcing it in a way that I used to before. So I sort of had to come back to jiu-jitsu and fall in love with it in a different way, just for the pure joy of doing it. And it's been amazing. It's been so much fun. And just every day that I get to go roll is pretty freaking awesome.
Nice.
Regardless. And, I'm grateful every time I get to do that. And the flexibility came back. Everything came back. So I still train about 3 times a week. Actually, I'm trying a new supplement my mom gave me, some mushroom supplement, not cordyceps, but I'm not sure what it is. It's some Chinese thing, but we'll see what happens with that. But I also changed my diet back. I stopped eating meat a couple months ago ish, just kind of randomly. So kind of going back to other things, and I haven't had the same muscle fatigue stuff that I did. So I'm still, slowly ramping it up a little bit and just checking in to see how I'm doing. But it feels like normal tiredness, not the different kind of feeling that I would get in the muscles. So we'll see what happens with that. But man, jiu-jitsu is just so fun.
Oh, totally. So how long were you out from, say, start to finish before you came across the red algae?
Like 5 years.
Oh, such a killer.
And I was out the door. The door was this almost closed. I was almost done. And then now I'm like, I can't believe I was about to quit. And now it's like, it was always a big part of my life because I was still teaching, but now it's like consumed me again. And, so like a lot of different things in my life changed. The gym I was teaching at, I left there and it closed. And, I kind of feel like, maybe I've always kind of joked like that I've had midlife crisis since I was like 20, because I didn't really think I'd get past 30 or 40, But I also think most of my life has been sort of that if I had 30 days to live, what would I be doing and what would be different? And I think I always had a little bit of that in me. And, I have a career in life ADD. Like, I don't do things for that long. And I think part of it is like wanting to learn different things. And I kind of feel like my mindset is kind of the way it was when I was in college. And it's like, I learned to sew about 1.5 years ago, and then I decided I was going to start sewing bags and gear bags and stuff for the jiu-jitsu world. And so I actually ended up getting this Bat Cave space where I can, do my jiu-jitsu privates, and I have a studio space to sew. And then what happened was I needed furniture to have my stuff, and I didn't want to buy everything, so I bought some tools and watched YouTube, kind of like how I learned how to sew. And so I built these couches, and I just built stuff so I can function in here. And now I'm back to sewing. So now I'm working on my new.
That's an official
flow. I know it looks like it's flow, but it's flow for love, art, utility. And it's also is it a homonym? It sounds the same, like my initials, FLO. And we also know flow state and flow jitsu and stuff. Okay. And those are my initials as well, FLO.
Aha.
So I kind of changed it a little bit.
Very nice.
Even though people look at it and say flow, but come on, if Ruka can do it, it says flow. This means flow. It's pronounced flow.
It's very cool. It's a corral. It's a red belt or a black and red belt jiu-jitsu themed pillow. Yeah. You got the purple one right here.
Yeah, well, I'll have them in all the different colors, and then I'll have like the suites, limited edition suites of every color. So they're little art objects. So my background is art, so I'm kind of coming all the way back around to that.
Nice. Oh, the tags are really nice. The texture, it's like almost like a crocodile skin sort of texture on the belt itself. You got the stripes, the growl stripes. It's very cool.
And those are actually made from my old gis.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That's kind of fun.
It actually is, huh?
Yeah. These are all prototypes still, so that's like the seams weren't
just give like a little
sealed.
Yeah, black belt pillow. It's very nice.
So I just got my 3rd degree from Jean Jacques a couple of weeks ago, so I made my own little pillow there for me.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
It's very cool.
So soon, for loveartutility.com, eventually it'll be for sale on Instagram.
Flow.
Yeah.
Not flow.
No,
it's flow. Flow jitsu. There's no flow jitsu. That wouldn't make sense.
Well, it'd be a little weird.
It would be. And it's probably a thing, and someone with flow jitsu is like, hey,
I'm going to sue her, flow jitsu.
It's totally normal. It's fine. That's our thing. No, it's flow jitsu. It's very, very cool. And the couch is comfy. I fit on it, which is new. I don't normally.
Look, your feet don't even touch.
I know, right? This is weird. I'm not used to just not having my knees up by my chest being crammed wherever I'm sitting. Yeah. Most furniture is not meant for people that are over, I think, a certain height.
Or under a certain height.
Or true. This is a equal opportunity non-fitting on furniture thing there. But no, this is cool. So this is these 2 couches as well as is the one on the other side as well?
That's like a pallet bench.
Okay.
But I made the coffee table, the miter saw stand, the work table, the gi drying rack and clothes rack.
The gi drying rack is sick. I like that. I should make one of those. I should make something. I don't know.
And the platform for the shower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Get a whole thing going on.
Well, you got to take a shower after you train. And then you got to, wash her so you can wash your gi.
Yeah. I was really
Oh, so you're getting warm too, huh?
No?
Or are you just itching? I'm sweating.
I was just kind of a little eyebrow there.
I'm sweating.
I was a bit ago, but now the sweat sort of cooled me down. I was sort of the shower thing. Yeah, oh God, where we stayed the other night, they actually had a laundry, coin operated laundry in the hotel, so I didn't have to I've done this in the past where I was staying in London for I think 3 or 4 weeks, and I brought a gi or two with me, and there's a Hunter Gracie Academy like right down the street off of Farringdon. So I'd walk to my office, and on the way home I would go and train, but I'd be stuck with this gi, and you can't find coin operated laundry in downtown London that's open, and you're not going to get like robbed or something. I don't know. I couldn't find one. It's cold and rainy and whatever. So I figured, well, I can at least find a place to buy laundry soap. And so I was basically like hand washing them in the shower and hang drying them. I was doing a good job. Okay.
How long did it take to dry? Like days? Or did it ever dry?
So allegedly in London, they have this thing called a trouser press in all the rooms.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You put it in there?
I may or may not have broken like 4 of them, so I kept switching rooms. Like, the trouser press doesn't work. I don't know what happened.
And they're like, sir, I don't even see you wearing trousers.
Well, they were blue and said corral or something, or show your roll, or whatever the heck I was wearing at the time. But
do they have those in the United States? I saw that in Germany, I think. They had them in a place I stayed at.
It started off with, we don't say trousers here. And
I didn't even know what they were called.
It's a trouser press.
So now I know.
Yeah. So they had that in the it was a nice hotel room. It was the size of most like restrooms in size. I mean, the hotel rooms are really small there. Even though it was nice. The hotel itself was very nice. It had a pool, a hot tub, a steam room, a sauna, like a decent sized workout area with mats. It was a nice hotel. But there was no laundry on site. Or they had like dry cleaning, and they charged a lot of money, and it took days or whatever. And
then dry cleaning a gi.
I don't want the thing. It's just gonna feel weird. So I basically just washed it in the shower. I thought I'd just take a shower, and I was like, that's gross. That doesn't make sense. So I just bought the thing, the Tide or whatever the British version of Tide
and then you were
is.
just like, scratching.
Oh yeah.
Did you wash it on your abs?
Huh? Of course. Well, because why wouldn't I? No. So I don't think I'd abs at the time. But I was by far the smallest guy at the gym. It was just like all these like laborers or whatever, just these huge like British dudes, and everybody was real technical.
That's cool.
Sort of. No, I mean, they was really, really strong, and they were getting ready for some Bristol Open, some sort of British tournament, and so everybody was going extra, light on the American that was visiting. But it was a very cool group. I still keep in touch with a bunch of them.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you can wash your gi in the shower, dry it in the trouser press, go make
I meant
friends.
that you can be friends with people from other places.
Yeah.
You have an instant, community wherever you go.
Oh, that's how I do this. I figured I used to just travel for work a lot, and instead of just sort of sitting in the hotel room all bored afterwards, I would have my gi, and whether it was Brazil or Singapore or London or wherever, when I got out of work, I didn't just have to go home and just, or go out to a bar or whatever. I could just go train, and I have friends all over the world now from jiu-jitsu. And so, it's great. I also learned lots of ways to wash my gi and dry it without ruining it. Didn't necessarily not ruin the stuff I washed it in, but that's bringing it back. It was really cool. There was a little $2 coin operated laundry thing at the hotel we stayed at the other night.
Well, and in LA, especially during the summertime, your gi will dry overnight.
It mostly did. I tumble dried it for a second, which seems like sacrilege, but I put it on like air dry and just threw it in there for long enough for it to not be dripping. Then I hung it.
Oh yeah, because it was, but that was in Europe, right?
No, this is here.
Oh, that was here.
Yeah, this is here.
Oh, but you hand washed it here?
No, they had the washing machine here.
And then you couldn't just dry. You didn't hang it up?
No.
I just hang it up and it's dry in a little bit.
No, we were in a hotel room. With,
too much air.
Yeah, I
too
crank
cold.
that thing up. I don't care what the condition is in a hotel room, because I can't do this at home. I crank that damn thing up so high where it's like it's obnoxious, and I have to hide under all like 3 layers of blankets just because I don't have it. I don't have that. No one has AC in Northern California, so when I get it, I'm like, oh come on, high as it goes.
He's also the guy that we're having a drought, so he probably turns on the water. Ha! I'm just gonna let it run.
Oh, exactly. I was turning on like, ha ha. You know what? When they get rid of golf courses, I'll stop doing that.
Yeah.
There's like how many hundreds of thousands of gallons go into making it okay to play golf.
Yeah.
And it's not like that's reclaimed water. That's the regular water.
Yeah. But at least that's private. Like out here, I walk out on the orange line in front here. And why didn't the city think of doing drought-resistant plants to border the walkway and the bike path? That seems kind of weird to me. Like,
There's just a bunch of dead plants.
yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Or they have sprinklers trying to keep them alive.
Some county administrator, mayor or something, their favorite plant is X, Y, or Z. That's just, or they just don't know what a drought resistant plant is.
Yeah. I was just talking about that the other day. That's why it came up. But it was like, we've had a drought for 5 years. Like, isn't that like fiscally responsible and just generally responsible to, and you could plant cactuses or cacti and get rid of the razor wire at the same time.
You could totally do that. There's plenty.
Nature's razor wire cactus.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
It's the OG razor wire. It's where it was just put a bunch of cactus everywhere. Yeah, they'd probably just wind up having all these like parents suing because of
because their kids fell in on their bike, I guess.
Or just because most people are mouth breathers and just would wind up bumping into cactuses all the time just because.
Ow!
It would be a game like all these kids playing Pokemon Go, just like bump in head first. Yeah.
Yeah, I've kept my distance from that.
But you're not a Pokemon goer, or is that what you call it?
I don't know. I've heard about it. Someone explained it to me, and I was like, I know me. Better for me just to not start.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I just don't play it. I don't play video games, so it's just another video game I don't play.
Yeah,
it's easy. So, but it's a whole big frenzy. I have a friend, it's like a comic book artist guy back in San Jose, and he was playing it in some park, and I guess a couple found him and took offense to it and like beat him up and like stabbed him and like
how did they take offense to him playing Pokemon Go?
People are crazy. I guess the cameras used.
Oh, they went like this or something to catch it, and they thought he was taking a picture of them or something?
Or they were just methy. I don't know.
Oh, methy.
They could have just been methy. Like, I'm not saying San Jose is very methy, but I think all cities have a meth component.
Yeah, there's a little methiness in every city.
Yeah, they can. There's neighborhoods in all cities that can be methy, meth-like, or have meth in them.
Or meth-like qualities.
Meth-like qualities. The methy are very meth-like with their meth-like qualities.
So what, they tried to beat him up?
They did. They tuned him up good. His chin was basically cut down to the bone with a knife. There's a big slash on his chest. They tried to kill him.
A couple tried to kill him because he was playing Pokemon Go in the park?
Methy McMethington and his wife or girlfriend or friend who is a female, allegedly. They jumped him somehow, and it was either the guy. I didn't hear the full blow by blow, but he had the Instagram, and I talked to him the other day, and he's in the San Jose Metro newspapers. I don't know what they call them in LA, but they have the concerts and there's a big full page picture of this guy playing his Pokemon, and yeah,
with all his like.
Well, it's his chin. It's like right here, like it's.
But he's still playing Pokemon.
Oh, he's all about it. He hashtag Pokemon Go and picture of him with his like karate black belt and nunchucks. It's like the greatest picture ever.
Wait, is he an adult?
Yeah, it's okay because that's a thing. Hey,
did he have like a headband?
No.
Oh.
I feel like that would have like added to it.
That would have like completed.
No, I think he defended himself. Like he didn't die, so I think he did okay. But no, they got him good.
Well, they had weapons too.
They did have knives, and that's a real thing.
Did he record them?
No, I don't think so. I think.
Did they arrest him? They caught him.
See, I know. I saw the ambulance part. I didn't see if they actually caught him or not. I still have to talk to him. I know it happened. It happened like very recently, and I need to actually take 20 minutes and just hear this whole story. But he's. The hell is his name? Like Chris Paraguidi. It was on the news, and there was it's on his Instagram. I'll show you the photos later. There's like this big like reverse. It's like a frown right under a smile. Like it's a deep cut. It wasn't good.
Well, that's the issue with Pokemon Go, that people are not paying attention.
They weren't paying attention anyway.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure Pokemon Go has a line or two in their agreement, right? That
They don't die.
That they're not responsible for if you get slashed by Methy McMethel because you're playing their game.
Methyl and Mr. McMethelton.
And Mrs. McMethelton.
The Methies.
Oh, those are the neighbors. They're the Methies.
Oh, you know methyl. Yeah.
Alice Cooper sings about cold methyl.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
I liked him before he got sober, though. Like more. Sorry, Alice. Like, I like the music better before he got sober.
He's awesome.
He's cool. I liked him in Wayne's World. We're not worthy. It was Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Were you like 12? 2?
For Wayne's World? No.
Yeah, maybe you're 2.
I was older than that.
How old were you?
When Wayne's World came out?
What year was that?
The 90s? It's like,
I don't even.
oh.
The linear timeline does not calculate for me that well.
12, 10, I don't know what it is. I saw it in the theater.
Oh.
What
were you doing going to Wayne's World when you were 10 years old? Isn't that like a rated R movie? No, maybe it was PG-13.
I don't know. What else? What was the alternative?
Well, how did you get in if it was a rated R movie?
Bought a ticket up from New Jersey.
That was my first job. I worked at a movie theater.
Yeah, you didn't work at the one in Jersey. Nobody
No.
cared. They're like, oh, he brought money. Okay, so you'll be fine. Yeah, we saw lots of movies we shouldn't have seen. Saw that. We saw White Men Can't Jump. They both came out the same year.
Oh.
And no, they didn't care about that either. That's my favorite Rosie Perez movie. The part of her on Jeopardy is really good.
Oh, yeah, she was obsessed with that,
That's
getting on there, right?
Foods that start with the letter Q. What is a quince? What is a quiche? Remember? That's one of my favorite Rosie Perez scenes.
I actually did see that movie, and I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
She rocked it. She made it all the way through, and she won. Spoiler alert from a 1991 movie.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But that was one of your favorite movies?
Yeah, totally. I like White Men Can't Jump. I like Wayne's World. Titanic a lot.
Oh, that's sensitive.
I really like that. It's one of my favorite movies. I just like it.
It's a masterpiece. It is.
It's a good movie.
Classic.
I know what's going to happen. I'm still, oh man.
Did you cry?
No.
You got sad though.
No.
It's sad.
Hey. I like Training Day. On a less sensitive note. The movie with Denzel, Training Day.
I saw it. I don't remember it.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen it a lot of times. You want to go home? You want to go to jail? Remember? With Ethan Hawke, was it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I just don't remember the details.
Oh. It was like a cop movie, like good cop, rookie cop.
Yeah.
Bad cop.
Yeah.
Not rookie cop. I don't know. What's your favorite movie? You got a favorite movie?
Probably Spinal Tap.
Really? Do you know how many people thought that was a real band? Like a lot. A lot of people think that's a real band.
That was the greatest movie. I grew up in Seattle in the 80s.
Okay.
So many hours spent, at Battle of the Bands, and a lot of bands came out of that time period when I was growing up.
So did you leave before or after the whole grunge thing?
I left right when it was happening. So I left in 1990.
Oh, cool.
To come to LA. And I was kind of, I'm going to go to LA and, kind of get away from Seattle. And during those few years after I left, everything was Seattle. Everywhere I looked, it was Seattle music, Seattle movie stars, Seattle coffee. It was everything. But
Pearl Jam, Starbucks. Anyway,
yeah, but it's cool looking back, to come from that place.
I like
cool.
I like Seattle a lot.
It's such a different place now.
It's very touristy.
It's way more crowded and just so different.
I like the what's the wall with all the gum called? The chewing gum on the wall.
I don't know.
Everybody takes a picture in front of the stupid thing.
When I go there, since I've left, I just usually hang out with my family north of Seattle. So I don't really get to see the newer attractions. I know the old things like, the pig at the market and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the sculpture in Ballard, the people waiting for the bus or whatever. Or is that Fremont? But it's so different now. So I passed through some of the places and there's, I try to, it's like parallel universe. It's like, I kind of remember this and there's some things that I can kind of vaguely attach. But, in my day, it was like the Kingdom, which has now gone. And now there's 2 other arenas there, Safeco Field and something else.
Oh, that's right. It was,
Yeah.
I worked from an office right there for about a week or 2 and I could see that field right out the window.
Yeah.
It's like right there on the water.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And I remember when the Kingdom was built and then when I was a kid and then when I heard they were tearing it down and I'm like, what? And then what? They're building 2 other things there. So, that's the way of the world, right? All the domes are gone, right? A lot of the domes, that was like a different time period. Now it's all these retractable and
that's right.
things. Yeah, technology changes, construction.
I remember in Toronto had a cool dome. They had the Sky Dome.
Mm.
It's even the coolest. I think it's the coolest name. And then there's a Silver Dome. That's Michigan, right? Pontiac.
What was the big one? Is it in Texas or what was the really?
They have that. Well, it's that. What is it? The AT&T one in Dallas or something.
Well, before it was called AT&T. Before the sponsorship back in the old days. Is it the Superdome?
No, Superdome's New Orleans.
What was? I don't remember.
Why I even know this stuff? Like I'm not even a football fan, like at all. I don't know. I know that the Niners fans are mad at the Seattle fans. Like, they're mad about a game from a few years ago.
I don't really follow any sports anymore. Once I got sucked into jiu-jitsu, like all the other sports ceased.
I don't have time.
I grew up in Seattle in the 70s and 80s, right? So the Sonics kind of had their moment in the sun. Yep. And, the Lakers were one of our arch enemies. And so when I moved to LA, it was very difficult for me to embrace the Lakers from, growing up hating them.
Yeah. So
eventually I came around and I started becoming a Laker fan. And then I was watching all the games and then this kind of thing called jiu-jitsu started in my life. And then I remember there was a day I was sitting in my car and, I was one of the early people to have TiVos and I would start TiVoing the games. And then I was like, you know what, I can't keep up with it. And I had to make this conscious decision that I am no longer going to watch basketball because I have to go to jiu-jitsu class. And that was the end of the basketball and the other sports.
I feel like it goes like you stop having time to watch the full thing. So you watch the recap, then you'll just watch Sports Center, then you'll just look it up real quick in the paper or the whatever at the time, whether it's the phone now and now. Then you just sort of like, somebody will tell you, and then eventually like, yeah, that's cool. I don't need to know.
It's a weaning, right?
Yeah.
And then like, why do you watch it? Because like if you're into it, then you have to watch the whole game and see how it unfolds. But then you go, okay, well, I'll just watch the end. And then you're like, well, why am I just watching the end? And then it goes away. Because
most basketball games, you could just watch the last 5 minutes and that's the story. You're good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when it happens. But
then that just brings you one step closer to not caring at all.
Yeah, I grew up a Celtics fan, so I feel you on the Lakers. So.
Yeah, that was Larry Bird.
That was that starting lineup. I used to go to
and the Boston Celtics with their parquet floor. That was the big deal.
Cheers, right, with the missing screw.
No, I didn't watch Cheers. Is that the TV show Cheers you're referencing? No, I didn't really watch.
You didn't watch Cheers? Oh my God. Well, yeah, it's. I guess it's in like an East Coast thing, but there was
No, people watched it. I just didn't. Remember, I didn't watch Seinfeld either or Friends.
Well, it took me a night, so I never watched.
I missed out on a lot of popular culture.
You called it Seinfeld, so I could tell you didn't watch Seinfeld.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, Garfield, and it's like you amalgamated the orange cat that probably has diabetes with all that lasagna to eat. It's really not healthy. Like no one should feed their cat lasagna. It's not okay. It's excessive. It's a whole tray.
I guess that's true.
It's like, who does that?
But he was pretty cute. He was kind of like a bitter cat, right?
I
used to read it, but I just don't remember.
He wasn't a happy guy. He was obese.
And he had his buddy Odie, right?
Yeah.
Was that the dog that used to pester him?
He was just a regular dog, and like Garfield had the personality of like Larry David, for example. So it was like Larry David and his pet dog. And Garfield didn't want to be bothered at all. He just wanted to eat lasagna. And all his hijinks were about him being obese and needing to eat more and hunt down plates of lasagna or entire casserole dishes of it. I don't know what kind of message we're trying to send to kids or cats, but it's not healthy. But no, Seinfeld. I it took me years to get into that. Like I don't like change that much, I guess, because I was still bitter that Cheers went off the air. Like, I still don't like Friends. I'm not gonna watch. I have never watched it. I'm not. It's not my thing.
Well, I guess we don't have to talk about any Friends episodes that.
I don't know any.
Well, neither do I.
But there was the parquet floor. There was an episode of Cheers where Kevin McHale came into the bar, I guess, and they wanted to know. It was the mailman Cliff on there. He always had this random trivia stuff. He would always have these facts that were clearly wrong, and he wanted something about the number of screws in the floor.
Oh.
And one was loose, and apparently he took it and forgot to put it back, and then it caused I think Kevin McHale or Larry Bird or whoever the hell it was to go flying, and they lost the game because of this.
The screw.
Yeah, so they're actually in Boston Garden. It was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, but they knocked that down. There's a new one now.
Oh, see,
They moved it to the parking lot of the old one. That's a real thing that happened.
And what's where the old one was?
The parking lot.
Oh, they switched.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they did.
Well, that makes sense because you don't have to tear one down to build it. You can build it and tear down kind of at the same time.
No, and yeah, you can.
That's smart.
Hey, they had the properties there. So you just sort of forklift it over, stick it on a dolly and wheel it across. Some cables and pull it. And hey, they built the pyramids that way. It had to be, just wedged. But there's a new Yankee Stadium too. Not a baseball fan. It's a pretty iconic place.
No, when I grew up in Seattle, it was well before they had their heyday. So when I was a kid, it would be like, so how's the weather? So how about the Mariners? Yeah, and then when I moved away, then
they won.
Yeah.
Well, at least you weren't there for the grunge thing.
I grew up in that.
Oh, you grew up. So you were there. You were there.
I grew up with those guys. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You know any of them?
Yeah.
Do you?
Well, sorta.
Sorta.
Same neighborhood with some of them.
Cool. The hood.
Yeah.
I grew up near. Who did I grow up near? I grew up near like Frankie Edgar. That was his cousins on my block.
Yeah. My art teacher in grade school was the mom of one of the guys, and we used to see those guys when we were kids playing.
Still a grunge fan? Were you? A
Oh,
grunge
absolutely.
Fan?
Absolutely.
What's your favorite?
Band or song? Anything?
Band.
I mean, I like all that stuff from that time.
All of it.
Earlier, I turned the music off when you came in.
All right.
I'm still stuck in that day,
All right. So you weren't like the metal before the grunge, or you were
Well,
just...
I like the glam rock stuff, all that stuff. Iggy Pop, New York Dolls, that kind of stuff.
It's like generationally, like even like people I know from Seattle, like even though grunge is really big, like depend on like when they went to high school, like if the thrash metal or just like the hair metal was popular when the grunge stuff came out with the shorter hair and the sweaters and stuff, they're like they didn't really adapt. They still got kind of stuck in the metal side of it.
So like the metal grunge thing was kind of just music, I think, and then it was kind of like, at that time it was more like rockers and wavers.
Okay.
Right. So I think the rockers were all kind of leaning toward the same thing, whether they were like into Motley Crue and the New York Dolls or, AC/DC or whatever. And then you had the Duran Duran MTV kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because even inside the rock thing, like they have all the little scenes, right?
Yeah.
So
a little bit.
there's like the metal. My brother was like a thrash metal kind of guy, so like it was all Slayer and all this stuff.
So that was a little bit after my high school time.
Okay.
So like during my time, it was like Def Leppard, Motley Crue, those kind of guys, and then like a lot of the guys I was around were really into like the older stuff, like New York Dolls and stuff like that. So
cool.
Yeah. And then we had friends that played at bands. So then on the weekends, it was Battle of the Bands at the roller rink.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a fun time. It was fun to see all those guys and then see them go on to do all these things. And now Facebook and Instagram, it's like you get to see all this stuff now.
They're all huge now. Who is it that just did wasn't it like Dave Grohl got hooked up with David Letterman, and then they did that whole show on Showtime or something?
I don't know. I don't watch TV.
Well, there was like a whole.
That's cool.
It was like a Foo Fighters sort of Dave Grohl special. It was kind of like a documentary type thing where they went city to city and they did the show there, but then they gave background on sort of like why that city was significant to the band or to to Dave or whatever. And,
Oh, that's cool.
I guess he pitched the idea to David Letterman from whatever Tonight Show or which late night.
He was late night with you.
He was late night. Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess he's the one that kind of got the ball rolling, got them hooked up with the production guys, and got them hooked up with Showtime, and they put on this show, and it ran for like, I don't know if it was a whole season, but it was at least a pretty good miniseries, and it's pretty good.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm a Dave Grohl fan. I like him a lot. I like Nirvana. I was kind of into the punk side of things, so I like some of it. So I like Sonic Youth.
Nirvana was playing like when I was in college. They were playing around at bars and stuff. So that was a little bit later. And I actually never went and saw them.
Let's see. Sonic Youth. Them, Pearl Jam was huge then. They were before and after, right?
Yeah. I like them
They're great.
a lot.
I saw them in Mountain View last year. Really good.
Oh.
They played an amphitheater show. It was them, and then was it the Temple of the Dog or whatever?
Yeah.
They
all those guys, like there's some guys that, didn't make it to through. So that's kind of sad, but we wouldn't have the things we have now,
Yeah, there's it's a hard industry.
The casualties, yeah.
It's a very different industry now, though, isn't it?
I don't know the industry, but I know like what's cool is I've seen on Facebook some of the guys in some bands that never quite became that famous, but they were definitely instrumental, back in our day, and seeing them like Overlord and stuff, and they're putting out, reissues of their old music, which is really, really cool.
Well, there's so many talented musicians out there, and I mean to get that hit or to like get across or to be even like associated with the right people at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like roll the dice, right? You hit.
Yeah, and if you never know what people are looking for, you never know what's going to catch on, and it's all timing. I think it's just timing and persistence and luck or whatever. Like, who the hell knows what a hit's going to be? And for all the really great musicians out there that don't make it, there's Gangnam Style and just silly pop songs that make so much money.
Yeah.
So it's who the hell knows.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool too. Like I said on Facebook, you see a lot of the guys that we grew up with are playing, and they're, maybe they didn't make it, and they're still playing, like it's like guys that do jujitsu, you just still go in every day and you do it because you love it.
Absolutely.
And that's awesome,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you want to make music, you should make music.
Yeah. You gotta do it.
Yeah.
You got one life, and you do what you love doing.
Absolutely.
And you figure out how to get that done, and sort of this space is about that, right? Like, I didn't make art for many years after I got out of graduate school. And so now it's coming back to that. And again, I don't know if it's, like life changes, you go through different things and comes back around and makes more sense, connects to more things. And you find out how to make, like you're talking about, like your priorities change, like you have your job and you're making money and you have this existence, and then what becomes more important. And as you mature or you have different life experiences, different things become more important and your priorities change. And if you're lucky enough to be able to see that and to make those changes to fulfill yourself and to follow that path, I think that's awesome. I think a lot of people get stuck. They get trapped in certain obligations, but that's also life, right?
Sure.
Like, certain decisions bring you in those places. But I think even when you're, stuck in certain places, there are ways to navigate that if you prioritize, if that really is the most important thing for you. Some people aren't willing to do what it takes to make their art or to pursue their interest or joy. And then it's harder, I think. But if you can get past that, I think that's the best.
I really think
thing.
I think it's just a matter of just having that epiphany where you realize that, you know, you're kind of blocking yourself, or you're, for whatever reason, you don't believe you can, you know, get past this certain thing, or I just one day waking up and realizing I can do what makes me happy, or sort of, if my emotions are my responsibility, then it's like I can choose to be happy. And, well, okay, what would sort of really enable that? And it's like, well, there's this thing I really want to do and I don't do it. So just being able to go for it and to take the steps. And because I think a lot of people just try to say, you know, well, if you're not doing something, you just probably don't want it bad enough. And I don't think that's fair, because people do have obligations in life, and people do have, you know, life does get in the way, or life is life. But at the same time, if you are lucky and determined and passionate and sort of driven enough, and you're surrounded by people that believe in you and you believe in yourself, and you arrive at this convergence of like all of those 8 things or however many I just said, like you just mentioned, then yeah, you can go and your life will be better. And whether you're the jiu-jitsu guy or the artist, and whether you're Dave Grohl or you're just grinding away because you love jiu-jitsu, or you love, you know, playing the guitar and, you know, just putting music out there for people to, you know, to listen to and just to share because you love doing it. It doesn't matter, because ultimately, like, you're doing it because you love doing it. Yeah. And if anybody else sings along or rolls with you, like, great, but ultimately, like, you're living the way you want to, sort of, because that's what makes you happy, and you're only living once. Like, as far, like, I only have evidence that you're living one time. I don't. If you get to live more than that, and we have 9 lives like cats, or we get reincarnated into some other weird stuff, that's tremendous. Yeah. But for now, I'm operating that I've got this one, you know, flesh and bones body thing, and I kind of want to take the time I'm given, because that could be tomorrow, that could be when I'm 70, 80, 90, who knows, right? Yeah. Could be yesterday. I could be dead now. Yeah. We could be, however we said on the census earlier, where we decided not to declare life. Yeah. You know, whatever. Yeah. But, you know, live once. And so I figure just make the best use of the time and try to live the way I want to live. And I think other people should do what they enjoy and live the way they want to also.
I mean, there's definitely, you know, recklessness. Like, it doesn't mean be irresponsible and reckless, right? No. But you have to figure out ways to incorporate those in a way that is sustainable or appropriate for your situation, right? I mean, I would love to be living off the land, off the grid, doing my own thing, but it's not really feasible for me. So this place is kind of, somehow my brain adjusted it. So everything I've done here, like, I built everything and I figured out how to do it myself. And people are like, do you need help? I'm like, no. Because I want to be able to go, like, I did everything except for the plumbing, you know? And it's not perfect, but it gets the job done, and it enables me to do my other stuff and to, you know, express whatever I need to do for me, myself. So I think there are different ways people can do it, but they have to be willing to also.
Yeah, if you know, there's something you love doing, if you got the passion for it, you believe in yourself, like, you can do it. As long as you aren't stepping on somebody else, like, rock on. Yeah. Go for it.
Or being irresponsible, you know.
Yeah.
Just, if you have kids, you still got to pay their bills.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff to take care of, you know, responsibilities.
Yeah, like, don't ditch your family to, like, go
on the road to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, don't do that. It's probably not going to work. Yeah, it's
you got to take the family with you.
Yeah, you got to throw them in the back.
Yeah, you got to get an RV and hit the road and make them train too.
That's it. So whatever your dream is, now it involves a Winnebago or a really cool station wagon.
An RV.
RV would be cool.
RV's doable.
Oh, those buses. You've seen those buses that some of, like, the bands and stuff have?
Yeah, like a tour bus. Like,
they're so nice.
Like Class A.
Yeah.
RVs. Yeah, I was looking into RVs at one point.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah. And now they're ridiculous. Now you can have, like, a 5-bedroom apartment in an RV. You know, they're the pop-outs and all. Like, they're pretty crazy luxurious.
Yep.
But
Hey, it's a house on wheels. That's why if you ever go to like a Walmart, like half the parking lot is full.
It depends on the Walmart. Some Walmarts won't allow that, but generally they will allow you to park there. There's some Walmarts in LA that won't allow you to park overnight.
Oh, is it maybe the size of the parking lot, or are there methy people there?
Something like that. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell in the Bay Area like where you can and can't, because certain towns or certain areas in certain towns, they're everywhere.
Well, since I've been coming back to the Valley in the last year, and my exploration into the world of RVs, you can see which streets they park on, and there's certain areas that they park and then they're gone in the morning, or you go, oh, I saw that. I know that RV, it was parked on Ventura the other night. Now it's parked over here. But I think people are getting more resourceful. I think some of them have to, just because of their living situation and financial situations. But I think people are also, I think we're in a time where people are doing what we're talking about. They're chasing whatever they need to go do. There's more resources and people have more freedom to do things. They can go live off the grid. They can go, they can raise chickens and eat the eggs and do all those kind of things that I think in the past were kind of limited or weren't really in our consciousness about doing.
No, there's all kinds of options. Have you seen those the tiny houses or the small houses?
Yes.
I saw that documentary. That was pretty cool. You have like a closet and a bed.
Yeah. Part of the idea here was to minimize, and just bring the necessary things. And it was interesting because we just had the sand fires. It was the big fires in Acton.
Okay.
A month and a half ago. It was pretty bad. Which was close to where I was, like not likely that it was going to get to me, but it makes you do that exercise when you see people losing their houses, that are like 5 miles from you, and then you go, what if I had like 20 minutes or 30 minutes to get what I needed to survive or to live? Then it gets really bare bones about what you need in this world, right? Like, you'd probably a box of documents, certain documents, and a couple things. Everything else is pretty much replaceable. Yep. There's only a few things that maybe have sentimental value, or maybe like your insurance policies, but those are all on on record somewhere too, right? And I think those are kind of good exercises to remind us about what is important and what do we want to concern ourselves with when we're here, and how much do we really need? Like, I want to get rid of more stuff. I haven't done that enough. My dad was a hoarder and my mom was a thrower, so it's like this constant battle.
Oh, wow.
Oh, save things. Oh, don't be wasteful. Oh, throw these, like there's like that immigrant mentality, but there's also if I really need it, I can just buy it. Again, if I need a shirt or whatever, if the fire burns down your house, you can replace those things. So it's like that 30 days again. It's like those exercises because, part of it, I think I'm getting older. Part of it is just the world we live in. I think maybe people are more aware of that they have some power in their choices of how they want to live, like we were talking about. And just having that exercise to refocus yourself and get to the core of what it is, what are you doing here? And, people talk about legacy and stuff, like, I don't really believe that so much, I'm not going to leave a legacy, but you think about what do you have to offer and what can you do while you're here? Like you can have a great time, you can do jujitsu and have a great time. And how do you do something where you give back, or, you talk to people and, tell them your experience, or you teach them something, or who knows what, maybe you donate things to causes or whatever, and you can help other people. But I think people are becoming more aware. I think, the world's becoming smaller. We're connected to so many more people through the technology. So things that seem far away aren't so far away anymore.
Oh, what do they say? The world is flat now.
Oh, is it?
Have you seen it? Yeah, it's not that flat one. not Eddie Bravo. The world is flat. Like that's a different thing. There's an author from I guess he's an editor or contributor to New York Times. It's Thomas Friedman. He wrote a book called The World is Flat, but it's more of like sort of a sociology, or sort of like a brief history of sort of like the basically everything since maybe the Berlin Wall came down, and then like Netscape going public, and then different flattening forces. The idea of it being flat is that it's an even playing field for someone here versus someone in Bangalore. Like we're all technically in the same workforce, and we're all competing for the same jobs, and we all have access to the same information. So the internet, .coms, all this stuff, right? Social media. The internet sort of starting as a consumption thing, and now it's the people that use the internet actually contribute more content than they download. So it used to be all downloads with like tiny little bit of uploads, but now it's like the switch because, well, look what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just this. Everybody's got one of these. Everybody's got a something, right? Facebook, right? I mean, how much do you think people download versus upload? Like Facebook, what do they really provide? They have the logo and some like API and like the actual site. The content's from us.
Yes.
The Instagram content is ours. All they give you is a shell.
Yeah.
And it's a stencil. That's all it is. It's just repeat. But the content is all user contributed.
Yeah.
So yeah, they call it like these are like all flattening forces of the world, like kind of making it all this even playing field. So yeah, it's the world's getting smaller. It's getting flatter. Same kind of gist. But for sure, how long have we been doing this?
Is everyone still awake?
Everyone's still awake. I'm so hungry. What is
Oh
it?
no, he's dying. He's hypoglycemic now. Yeah. Maybe he needs some of that dried fruit.
Good with an hour and a half?
I'm good. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Let's talk about what you're up to. You got the pillows?
I'm making my flow pillows. They'll be on forloveartutility.com soon. And my Instagram. So I'm on Facebook, Felicia Oh. And my Instagram is Felicia and then 0H because someone stole my name.
It's not very nice.
So 0H. And it's also a Flow for Art Love Utility. FLAU for Love Art Utility. Anyway, keep an eye out because you're going to want to have one of these plushy things to sleep with. You can sleep with a black belt all the time.
So thank you so much, Felicia Oh, for being on the show, and buy your pillows and check out For Love Art. Did I screw that up?
No, For Love Art Utility.
For Love Art.
Now we can turn the air conditioning back on.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for having us in the Batcave in the undisclosed location.